Hello, and welcome to PS10 Radio. This is your host, Angeline, and today is an episode of Self-Care. In this episode, we are talking about growth mindset. So if you understand the concept of growth mindset, it is basically the opposite of fixed mindset, and it's basically saying that because I don't know how to do something doesn't mean I never will. It doesn't mean that you are unable to improve or work on anything. It doesn't mean that you can't challenge yourself and get better at something or become an expert on something that you've never been an expert on before. It doesn't mean that you can't grow from your experiences or from things that you are unaware of. Fixed mindset is where we will start. We'll start with trying to define what that is. And basically, a fixed mindset is saying that based on my natural genetics, my natural talents, who I am as a human being, as a person, whatever skills I have now are the only skills that I'm going to be able to do and be well at. I'm unable to learn or train my body or develop skills that will make me do things outside of that scope. What I know how to do now is basically my wheelhouse. That's where I live. That's where I stay. That's the only means of talent for me. I cannot do any more, any better. Things will not change. Things will not get better. They will always stay this way and just morph into different versions of itself. But growth mindset, that's where we want to stay. If you want to be a better person, if you want to become a better version of yourself, if you want to be the best person that you can be, especially if you want to learn to do things that you've never done before. If you want to dream and have goals and reach those dreams and goals and actually accomplish things that you've never done before, then you want to develop a growth mindset. A growth mindset is basically saying that despite your imperfections, despite your failures, despite the odds against you, despite that adversity that you have experienced in your life, despite the trauma, despite the negativity, the naysayers, the haters, you can actually improve and work on skills and things that would make you a better person. You value criticism because you can use that to drive yourself and do better and take into consideration that feedback. You see your failures as a way to learn, as opportunities. You don't look at your past experiences as, well, that's how I am. That's how it's going to be. Nothing will be better. If you have a growth mindset, you're looking at those past experiences as, wow, I learned something from that. I gained some knowledge from that. I grew from that. I'm not in that place anymore. You're giving yourself permission to learn and be and do better. You're also showing that you don't have to be the same person for all of your life, for the total duration of your life. You don't have to let things happen to you and just go along with it. You do have some locus of control in your life. You do have the ability to make changes. But it is a mindset. It starts with your mind. What are you telling yourself? What are you feeding yourself? What are you listening to? What are you giving your energy to? What are you paying attention to? And the opposite is also true. What are you allowing to make you feel bad? What are you allowing to keep you stuck? What are you allowing to lower your self-esteem and your self-confidence? What is getting in the way? Once you identify that, then you're able to use your growth mindset to be like, okay, I see where I'm drifting off in this direction. I want to change courses, so this is what I'm going to do different. So you're allowing yourself to be a different person. You're allowing yourself to grow. And this enhances your mental health. It enhances your emotional and mental well-being. It allows you to be human, because this human experience is new for all of us. Every day offers a new opportunity, but you have to see it as an opportunity. You can't see it as, oh, it's another confirmation that I'm just not meant to succeed, that I'm meant to be a failure, that nothing works out for me. You have to decide, okay, I see where this is going. Let me switch it up. Let me do something different. Let me go into my experience and see, what did I miss here? What lesson was I supposed to learn that I haven't learned yet? And that's why these things keep happening to me. Where do I need to set boundaries? Where do I need to draw the line? Where do I need to do things different? And how? The how is where you can seek help from others, from professionals, from therapists, coaches. You can seek help from books. You can seek help from workbooks and journals. You can seek help from mentors or family members or your spiritual leaders or your guides. You can seek help from the Bible. There are different resources available to you, but you have to tap into them. And then not only tap into them, because it's easy for anyone actually to pick up a book, including the Bible, and see things in a negative light and be like, see, this supports what I'm saying about my life. I'm just doomed. I'm not destined to be anything. I won't be anything. I won't make it out of this. I'm just going to run into obstacle after obstacle, so why try? The opposite is also true. If you pick up the same book, the same Bible, and you look at it and say, I'm going to look for ways that I can get out. I'm going to look for lessons I can learn. I'm going to look for the positive that comes out of some of these negative situations. I'm going to look for the growth that I can have from learning from other people's mistakes. Maybe you will divert yourself from even going down that path of having to go through the valley or climb that large mountain, because you're reading it. You're seeing, oh, okay, they did this, and that was not the best way to go about it. So when they learned about this, they were more successful. And so you may be able to skip ahead and go to, let me try this. Or you may actually be someone who, I have to learn these lessons on my own. I do have to take these steps down the valley so that I can reach the other side. I do have to go up to the mountain myself. I can't just jump mountaintop to mountaintop. Life is a roller coaster. We're human beings. This is what happens. Things are going to happen. Adversity is going to happen. We can't get away from it. But our mind, the way that we handle it, the way that we respond, it just reminds me of that cliche quote of, life is 10% of what happens to you and 90% of how you respond to it. How do you see it? So that goes into like perception, it goes into your mindset, it goes into your values and your beliefs. What do you believe about yourself? What do you believe about your future? What do you believe about your past? And then we have those limiting beliefs, those cognitive distortions, those blockages that keep you in a negative space. Because we naturally, think about it. When things happen, and you share with somebody what happened, before you even process your testimony about it, before you even get to a point where you're like, oh, let me learn a lesson, we are prone to be like, man, why does this happen to me? Why does this always have to happen to me? We go straight to the negative. We do tend to do that. That's natural. However, once you see that that's the way or the direction that you're going, we also have the freedom of choice, and we can choose to go a different direction and say, you know what, that's messed up, but there's something I can learn from this. There's something I can grow, something I can grow from. Why did this happen? And sometimes we won't know the why. That's true. Sometimes it may take a lifelong to just realize, like, why did I go through that? I've had personal experiences where I'm like, man, like when I'm in the thick of it, when I'm in the thick of that experience, I am just totally like beaten down emotionally or mentally or spiritually. And I'm just like, why is this happening? Why am I going through this? A lot of times we're not ready to see the truth, or we're not ready to see the why. And so we just have to go through it. But we even in that moment, we can still choose to have a positive mindset. I don't know why I'm going through this, but I'm just going to keep going. I'm just, okay, I'm going to stop, get myself together, get my thoughts together, do my little plan for what I'm going to do this week or today or this month. Let me just follow that and until I get out of this. So I've been able to do that in my own personal experiences, whether it be in parenting or whether it be in finances or it be career-wise. I mean, I've had to just take the reins myself and just been like, with the help of prayer and whatever I hear the Lord telling me to do. Oftentimes, I know that it's the right direction when I have peace with what I'm doing. I personally don't make decisions unless I have peace with it. If I make a decision and which I have made most of my decisions, I may have hastily made a decision abruptly, and just, kind of wrestled with it over and over in my head, worried with it, perseverated, just constantly like, I don't know. I guess I made the right choice. I'm not sure. What do I think I should do? I'm constantly making my pros and cons list. I'm constantly looking at the positive and the negatives of the whole situation. And maybe things aren't working out. Then I recalibrate and I put myself in a situation where I may ask someone, talk to someone, or I just ask the Lord, like, give me a sign, help me to know what should I do. Please, put me in the right direction. Help me to discern that I'm doing the right thing or not. And then it'll just come to me and I'll just be like, oh my gosh, like, okay, I got to shift courses, or I think I need to go a different direction, or I'm just going to be still for a while because I don't need to do any of that I wrote down. Because we have to get out of our own head. But that just goes back to our growth mindset. I mean, are we writing a bunch of things that we know are just out of our range? And are we being realistic about the things that we're trying to do or accomplish? Are we seeking out the right counsel? Are we even admitting to ourselves what's really going on? Are we really aware and acknowledging and noticing like what's going on? Because sometimes we repeat the same patterns over and over again because we really don't know what's going on. We aren't aware. We aren't noticing. We aren't acknowledging. So that's the beauty in growth mindset. It can help you to just feel a sense of individuality. Like, okay, I may not be able to, catapult and do all these things that someone else is doing, but I can do this. And that's the direction I'm going to go. So it's just being realistic about what actions to take next and what to do next, and helping you to be authentic and identify who you are as a person, what you believe in. And then in turn, when you start to experience those small successes, you will realize that my growth mindset got me here. I was led to this place by intentionally being positive and thinking that I can do it. And then you learn to see obstacles and adversity and failures differently. Because you're like, okay, that's not going to keep me down. And then I'll just do this, or I'll do it this way, or I'll keep trying. It's just like I was watching a video the other day of a guy, and it didn't really have a lot of words. It just was saying like, in a certain year, I think it was like 2008, he was trying to compete in a weightlifting competition, and he couldn't even lift the weight. Like, it was his turn, you only get one attempt. He couldn't even do the first one. So then, like, maybe 5 years later, he tried again. He lifted it up to his chest, but he could not get it over his head. He just dropped the weight and he just went away crying. It was just kind of like very disappointed in himself. You know, they only get one attempt. Then, like, maybe like 2 years later, he did it, and he got over his head, but you know, he didn't quite get the gold medal, which I assume it was his goal, because for me, my goal would have been just let me get over my head. But no, he wanted to, like, I want to beat everybody when I do this. And then, like, in 2018 or 2019 or something like this, and I'm paraphrasing, so if you've seen the video, you know what I'm talking about, but I may have the dates wrong. But anyways, the fact of the matter is, he didn't stop, but he kept training. He didn't tell himself that I have a fixed mindset, I guess I can't do it after the first time, or even the second time, or the third time. He kept saying, I'm just going to keep trying. Okay, let me train a little more. Maybe let me eat different. Let me have a different ritual before I go on stage. Let me get my mind in this space. Let me put on this song. Let me get myself motivated in this way. So there was some kind of thing that the inner strength that got him to the point where, mind over matter, he was able to do that growth mindset for himself so he can reach the gold medal of lifting weights. I mean, that was just an amazing video. It was short, but it was simple, and it really does start with your mindset, because I'm sure there were many people who tried the first, maybe second time, and they just quit. They're just like, that's not for me. I'm just gonna switch gears, which is still, it can be beautiful. I mean, maybe you switch gears and maybe you going down a direction that you are so much more successful in. However, that person that stays in a fixed mindset never looks at the positive, always kind of, you know, people like to say they're being a realist, or they're being true to themselves, or they're being realistic, or they're just trying to be their own devil's advocate. Like, you were getting in your own way. There's a time for that, but you're getting in your own way. Like I said, we all default to negativity, but truthfully, we all also have the ability to grow from what we go through. We hope that you have enjoyed this episode of Self-Care, talking about growth mindset, and we hope that you are able to find ways to develop your own growth mindset, whether it be through affirmations or videos or books, or speaking with people who can speak positivity into your life. Even if your values and beliefs don't quite align with having a growth mindset, you have the right to change your mind. As always, be the best you that you can be, one positive step at a time. Peace.